Imagine this. You wake up one morning and realize your life feels busy, but not effective. You're doing 100 things a day, replying to messages, meeting deadlines, chasing goals, yet deep down you feel stuck. You're working hard, but not necessarily moving forward. Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, is about changing that feeling forever. It's not just a book about time management or productivity. It's about transforming who you are from the inside out. Covey says, "The way we see the problem is the problem." That means if you want to change your life, you first have to change your perspective. He divides the journey of effectiveness into 3 main stages. Dependence, when you rely on others. You take care of me. Independence, when you take charge of yourself. I can do it. Interdependence, when you work effectively with others. We can do it together. The 7 habits guide you through this exact path, from dependence to independence, and finally, to interdependence. Let's begin this journey, one habit at a time. There are 2 kinds of people in the world: those who wait for life to happen to them, and those who make life happen. Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People isn't just a book about productivity or success. It's a guide to transforming who you are from the inside out. Covey doesn't talk about quick fixes. He talks about principles, timeless truths that build character, integrity, and purpose. Because success that isn't built on principles never lasts. You see, effectiveness isn't about having the latest tools or techniques. It's about developing habits that align with natural laws. Habits that make you effective, not just busy. Covey divides life into 2 journeys. The private victory, mastering yourself. The public victory, mastering relationships and influence. But it all starts inside. Because you can't win in public until you've won in private. You can't lead others until you learn to lead yourself. So, let's walk through the 7 habits that have transformed millions of lives around the world. Habits that can take you from ordinary to exceptional. Habit 1. Be proactive. You are the creator of your life. Everything begins here. If you don't master this habit, none of the others will stick. Covey says, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." Let that sink in. No matter what happens around you, no matter how unfair life seems, no matter what people say or do, you always have a choice. Reactive people blame. Proactive people act. Let's picture 2 people stuck in the same storm. One curses the weather and says, "This always happens to me." The other puts on a raincoat and keeps moving. Same storm, different mindset. Being proactive means taking full responsibility for your emotions, your actions, and your future. It means saying, "I'm not a product of my circumstances. I'm a product of my decisions." That's the mindset of every great leader, every successful person, every strong human being who's ever made a difference. Covey explains that reactive people focus on the circle of concern, things they can't control. They worry about the economy, the government, what people think of them. Proactive people focus on the circle of influence, things they can control, their habits, their reactions, their words, their work ethic, their attitude. And here's the truth. The more you focus on your circle of influence, the bigger it grows. You gain power, credibility, and peace of mind. But when you waste time worrying about what you can't control, your influence shrinks. So the first step toward effectiveness is to take responsibility. Stop waiting for life to change. Start choosing how you respond. When you shift from, "Why is this happening to me?" to "What can I do about it?" your entire life starts to move in a new direction. Because successful people don't wait for opportunity, they create it. Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. Design your life before you live it. Now that you've learned to be proactive, to take charge of your own actions and reactions, it's time to take charge of your direction. Because what's the point of climbing faster if your ladder is leaning against the wrong wall? This is where most people get lost. They hustle, they work, they chase. But when you ask them why, they go silent. They're running hard, but they don't know where they're running to. Stephen Covey calls this the activity trap. We mistake movement for progress. We confuse being busy with being effective. But habit 2, begin with the end in mind, flips that completely. It asks you to stop, to pause, to think deeply about one question. What do you really want your life to stand for? Covey gives us one of the most powerful exercises in the book. He says, imagine yourself at your own funeral. Sounds strange, right? But stay with me. You walk into a quiet room. There's soft music playing. Friends, family, colleagues are there, celebrating your life. Now, imagine 4 people are going to speak about you. 1 from your family, 1 from your work, 1 from your community, and 1 close friend. What do you want them to say? What kind of person do you want to be remembered as? What kind of difference do you want to have made? That moment, that vision, is your end in mind. Once you know that, you stop living by reaction. You start living by intention. 2 creations, first mental, then physical. Covey teaches something powerful here. Everything is created twice. First in the mind, as an idea, a vision, a plan. Then in reality, as action, structure, achievement. Think about it. Every building you've ever seen was first drawn on paper. Every successful company existed first in someone's imagination. Every dream that became reality started as a picture in someone's mind. The same goes for your life. If you don't consciously design it, someone else will design it for you, your boss, society, pressure, expectations. And you'll end up living someone else's story instead of your own. That's why this habit is about leadership, not just management. Management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things. It's about asking, am I climbing the right mountain? Because it doesn't matter how fast you climb if you're headed in the wrong direction. Now that you have your vision, it's time to capture it. Covey challenges us to write a personal mission statement. This isn't some random list of goals. It's a declaration of who you are, what you value, and what you stand for. It's like a compass, not a map. A map shows where you've been. A compass points you where you're meant to go. When life gets confusing, and it will, your mission statement keeps you grounded. It might sound something like this: to live with honesty, compassion, and courage. To inspire others through kindness and example. To create, serve, and grow every day. Yours can be unique. It can be short or long. What matters is that it's yours. Because when you know your why, your how becomes powerful. You see, most people react to life as it comes. They let circumstances, trends, and emotions control their path. But people who begin with the end in mind, they start each day with purpose. They visualize success before they even move. Covey said, if your ladder is not leaning against the right wall, every step you take just gets you to the wrong place faster. That's the hard truth. So stop climbing mindlessly. Stop saying yes to things that don't fit your purpose. When you know your end, every decision becomes clear. Does this move me closer to my vision or away from it? Does this align with my mission or distract me from it? That's how you live by design. That's how you build a life that has meaning, not just motion. One of the most incredible human abilities is imagination. Covey calls it the ability to live out of your imagination, not your memory. Most people live from memory, repeating their past, trapped in old habits and fears. But imagination lets you break free. It lets you create the future you want, not just relive the one you've had. You can visualize your dream career, your ideal relationships, your best self, and then start living like that person today. You don't wait until you make it. You start aligning your behavior with your vision right now. That's what begin with the end in mind really means. It's not just about goals, it's about identity. It's about who you choose to become. Because when your vision is clear, your actions naturally follow. You only live once. But if you live it with direction, once is enough. Habit 2 teaches you that success isn't accidental, it's intentional. You don't drift into greatness. You design it. So take a step back today. Write your mission. Visualize your future. And every morning, remind yourself of your end in mind. Because once you know where you're going, every step, every choice, and every action gains meaning. Habit 3. Put first things first. Prioritize what matters most. Now that you've learned to take control, habit 1, and found your vision, habit 2. Habit 3 is about execution. Covey teaches us the difference between urgent and important. Most people spend their time reacting to urgent things: phone calls, emails, messages, small crises. But effective people focus on important things: planning, relationship building, personal growth, and long-term goals. Covey calls this Quadrant 2 living. Quadrant 2 is where you plan, prevent, and prepare. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what truly matters. He reminds us, the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. When you live by your values instead of your moods, you start feeling more peaceful and in control. You stop being a slave to urgency and start becoming the master of your time. Now that you've learned to lead yourself, Habit 4 teaches you how to work powerfully with others. Covey says, win-win is not a technique. It's a total philosophy of human interaction. You see, most people operate in scarcity mode. They believe that if someone else wins, they must lose. But effective people live with an abundance mindset. They believe there's enough success, love, and opportunity for everyone. Let's imagine this. Two business partners are negotiating a deal. One wants the biggest profit. The other wants fair cooperation. If they compete, they both lose trust. But if they look for a win-win, something that benefits both, their relationship grows stronger and success becomes sustainable. In every relationship, whether it's business, friendship, or family, the win-win mindset means asking, how can we both succeed here? It's not about being soft or giving in. It's about courage with consideration, standing for what you believe while also caring for the other person's needs. Covey says the foundation of win-win thinking is character, specifically integrity, staying true to your values; maturity, balancing courage and empathy; abundance mentality, believing there's enough for everyone. When you think win-win, life becomes a partnership, not a competition. Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Habit 5 is about empathic communication, one of the most powerful skills you'll ever learn. Covey says, most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. Have you ever been in a conversation where the other person isn't really hearing you? They're just waiting to talk? We all do it sometimes. But effective people flip that script. Before they speak, they truly listen. They step into the other person's shoes, feel what they feel, and understand their perspective. It's called empathetic listening, not just hearing words, but understanding the emotion behind them. Here's an example. If your friend says, "I'm so tired of work," most people would reply, "Yeah, me too." But an empathetic listener might say, "Sounds like your workload's been really heavy lately. Is it stressing you out?" That kind of listening builds trust, and trust opens the door for real influence. Only after you truly understand others can you communicate your own point effectively. So the next time you're in a discussion, remember this rule. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. That's how you turn conversations into connections. Habit 6. Synergize, the power of togetherness. Habit 6 is about teamwork, creativity, and collaboration. Synergy means the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. In simple words, 1 + 1 is equal to 3 or more. When people with different strengths come together and truly value each other's differences, magic happens. Covey explains that synergy isn't about compromise, it's about celebrating differences. Compromise says, let's meet halfway. Synergy says, let's create something even better together. For example, when two musicians collaborate, they might create a song that neither could have made alone. That's synergy. The same applies to friendships, teams, families, and companies. When we stop trying to make others think like us and start appreciating their unique perspective, new ideas, solutions, and breakthroughs are born. To achieve synergy, you need trust, openness, and respect. It's not easy, but it's worth it, because together, we can do things none of us could ever do alone. Habit 7. Sharpen the saw, renew yourself regularly. And finally, Habit 7, the one that keeps all others alive. Covey calls it Sharpen the Saw. It's about self-renewal, taking care of your body, mind, heart, and spirit. He tells the story of a man sawing down a tree for hours. Another man passes by and says, "Why don't you stop and sharpen your saw?" The first man replies, "I don't have time. I'm too busy sawing." That's what most of us do. We're so busy working, chasing goals, solving problems, that we forget to renew ourselves. To be effective, you must pause, recharge, and grow. Covey divides renewal into 4 areas. Physical: exercise, eat well, rest, stay healthy. Mental: keep learning, reading, and challenging your mind. Emotional/social: build deep, meaningful relationships. Spiritual: reflect, meditate, connect with your purpose. Sharpening the saw means investing in yourself so you can continue to give your best to the world. Because if you burn out, you can't serve anyone, not even yourself. So remember, the most powerful investment you can make is in you. Covey's message is simple, but life-changing. If you want to change your world, start by changing yourself. Effectiveness isn't about quick fixes. It's about building character, living by principles, and aligning your actions with your values. And that, my friends, is the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Not just a book, but a blueprint for a better life. Remember this: success isn't something you chase. It's something you attract by becoming the kind of person who deserves it. Every time you choose to be proactive, every time you focus on what matters most, every time you listen to understand, you're rewriting your future. These habits don't just change your schedule, they change your identity. Because the truth is, effectiveness isn't about being busy. It's about being intentional, about living with purpose, vision, and balance. So start today. Practice 1 habit at a time. Watch how your mindset transforms, your relationships strengthen, and your opportunities multiply. Speech balloon if this audiobook inspired you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because here, we turn powerful books into real-life lessons. Let's grow together, 1 habit, 1 book, 1 step at a time. This is your reminder. You already have what it takes. Now go out there and live it. Glowing star, keep growing. Keep learning. Keep becoming.